Hi everyone, I'm going to show you how to make your colony forming unit graphs that are due on Monday and that you can use for your final report due on Saturday. I'll be showing you this in two different ways, one on Google Docs and then the other one on PowerPoint. So let's get started with Google Docs. Okay, please. There we go. Just making this full screen to show you the graph real quick. So you can see on the y-axis I have average CFU over milliliters, and on the x we have treatment. And up here, the legend, these are my treatments, treatment A and treatment B. So I sampled from an active loon nest and then an abandoned loon nest. So in ideal situation, you would have those labels down here, active loon nest and abandoned loon nest, and I wouldn't have to change the color. But Google Docs has reconfigured their whole platform and did some really stupid things, so I can't do that right now, but we can do that in Excel. So if you're using Google Docs, then please follow these procedures, otherwise you're going to be really irritated and not know how to figure this stuff out because they change things. So you can see I have all the data that I would have recorded in my lab notebook. Treatment A and treatment B, these are the CFUs that we got from the formula, and then I averaged them out, and then I took the standard deviation. So let's walk you through how to do that. So I already have my data inputted here just to save time, and I'm going to label this one average, and I'm going to type in equals, have gets average. Cool. I'm going to do the same thing with the next one. So I'm hitting a closed parentheses there and enter. And the reason why I bolded this is so when I do the standard deviation, I don't accidentally select that last line because that'll mess up my numbers. So I'm going to hit equal sign, SG. That'll be the first one. And I'm just going to take the non-bolded, close parentheses, equals, ST. Okay. So I've written up here active loon nest and abandoned loon nest. And the reason why I wrote that is because it's treatment A and treatment B. But I'm going to use this to make my graph, so it'll hopefully automatically put that text in there for me. So I'm just going to put my averages back in, and then I'm going to select and insert chart. Okay, great. So we have two different columns here, active loon nest and abandoned loon nest. And this graph needs a lot of work, but it's off to a good start. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to customize, and I'm going to start labeling these things. So I'm going to go to chart axis and titles, and I'm going to go to my horizontal axis, and I'm going to label it treatment. And you want to make this bigger font and bold so it pops out. And then I'm going to label my vertical axis. CFU over milliliter. Same thing, I'm going to make it bigger and bolder. Okay. Now that I have that, I can go to my legend, and I can change that font as well to make it a little bit bigger and bolder. And then I'm going to move the position. This is just a personal preference. If you like it up there, you can leave it there. I like it off to the right. And then I'm going to go to grid lines. And this is another personal preference. A lot of scientific journals have like very particular ways that they want their graphs to look. And I was trained to write in animal behavior format by Chris Mayer, one of our deans. So these are not required. This just, I think it looks cleaner. So I'm going to go over to major grid line, and instead of hitting anything there, I'm going to go over there, and I'm going to select white. And that's just a little trick to get rid of those lines and not any of the other lines. So now that we have the nitpicky stuff, we're going to go to series because we want to install our standard deviation. So I'm going to drop this down a little bit so I can see my standard deviation numbers. And I'm going to go to series, drop down, go to active LunNest. Now most of you are going to be printing in grayscale or just the black and white computer. So instead of letting the computer grayscale it for you, I change it ahead of time so I can make sure that the colors or the grayscale looks okay and there's enough definition between the two columns. So I'm going to select this kind of medium gray, and then I'm going to go to error bars, drop down constant, and then I'm going to type in my first value, which is crazy. Oh, that's because it's the wrong number. It's actually this one, 143. 143, 17. That's better. Then I'm going to drop down, go to abandon LunNest, change this one to an even lighter gray. It's a little bit too light. So I'm probably going to change, let's make this one dark then. There we go. And now we go to error bars, constant, and then type in the value for this one, which is 7469. All right. So what else are we missing here? So that looks pretty good. I'm going to X out of this. And you can change the boldness on that as well to make those pop out. I usually do that because their lines are really wimpy. And then you can go nuts and make this a little bit thicker too. You should be able to. Maybe not. Okay, well that's good enough. Alright, so let's match this up with our other one. So I just changed the color a little bit. We have average CFU per milliliter on the Y. Our data values go to about 40,000. Active LunNest versus abandoned LunNest. Treatment goes up about 40. Average CFU per milliliter. Treatment, we're going to legend there. We're all good. So that's how you use Google Sheets. Now we're going to go over to Excel. So in Excel, you can actually make it look the way that it should with having the active LunNest and the abandoned LunNest, or in your case would be, plants or no plants, or high sediment, low sediment, or whatever. So let's try to make this one in Excel. So same thing here. I don't know what happened there. I don't know what's going on there. So I'm just going to hop down a little bit, and then I'm going to write average again. And equal sign av, average. Looks like I didn't update my what. Alright, that's being weird. It's the same thing in Excel to do the average and the standard deviation. Just use the equal sign. So let's just try and get rid of this graph, and then we'll just start over. So this one, Excel is a lot more powerful than Google. So in Google, in order to get that graph to work, I input the bare minimum information. I selected just this region right here. But Excel is smarter and better. So I'm gonna actually highlight this whole area here because it should auto-populate it for me. Now look at that. Gorgeous. It knew that I meant active loon nest down here, abandoned loon nest. We don't want the title up here, but we can fix that. So let's make this a little bit bigger. So the first thing I'm going to do is just go here. I'm going to get rid of those grid lines. I'm going to get rid of that chart title. And then I'm going to go over to axis titles. And they show up right here. And then I can just start writing again. Bold. Make that bigger. And it might be changing the color on us to not be black, so you want to change it to black. Great. So we're going to do this one now. This one is treatment, as before. Bold. And let's go 12 again. Great. Okay, so that's already looking pretty good. We can go even further. We're going to color. And let's pick something pretty. You can go grayscale, or you can, so this one you don't need your bars to be different colors. Ideally, you do not want your bars to be different colors unless you're showing many, many different things going on. So because you already have this labeled down here, you don't need it to be different colors. So you can print in grayscale again, right? So you can go down to the gray. And if you want a pretty one, then just select a pretty one. Okay, and now we can go not here, here. You're going to go to error bars, and you're going to hit the arrow over caret. And instead of hitting standard deviation, don't do that because it's going to do its own thing. And it's just taking like a standard deviation. We have our own standard deviation, so you don't want to use theirs. You want to go to more options. Let's try that again. Error bars. And then go to more options. There we go. And then you want to make sure that you have both clicked because it's going to show the positive and negative values. And then you want to go down to custom and hit specify value. And here it's going to, you want to delete this. Okay. And then you're going to, while your cursor is still clicked in there, you're going to click those two. And then go to that one. Delete, leave your cursor, and those two. Then hit OK. And there we go. It did it for us. So you can stretch this out a little bit, and then you see how this looks like it's really close? Like active loon nest is almost on top of treatment. You can click this like any region, and then make that a little bit smaller. Oh, this worked earlier. Yeah, so you can play around with those boxes a little bit and move those out. And there you go. Let's size this up to, oh right, we can. Okay, so you have two finished graphs now. So you can save this. Save it, or you can just copy it. You can copy it and then open up a document for yourself. Now let's see if this just pastes in. There you go. So you see how like wonky that looks? it's not a really great resolution. So another way to get this into your document, and I'll show you on Google, is to actually import it. So here's your Google, nope. Where the hell's your Google? There it is. So we can actually import this directly from the sheet. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Insert, we're going to go down to Chart, and we're going to pull it from Sheets. So it'll show the most recent sheet I've been working on, select, and then you want to select your pretty graph, and hit Import. See how much better quality that is? So when you have the option, you want to hit Import instead of copying and pasting your graph. And then you want to add your figure caption. So you're going to write fig, your 1. Let's scroll down. Let's get rid of that. So you're going to go figure 1 and then type a description in it. So you're going to say something like colony forming units found in an abandoned loon nest versus an active loon nest. And then you can say something like there are more, well, you don't have to say it, but you could say that there are more in this versus that. And then you want to say something about what these bars mean. So I'm going to write error bars represent the standard deviation. Let's make that smaller so you can actually see. Okay, so colony forming units found in an abandoned loon nest versus an active loon nest. Error bars represent the standard deviation. Okay, so that's all you need to do for your figure. You can clean that up a little bit and make it down on one line. So no title up here because you have your figure caption down here. And you can make that a little bigger to stretch it out if you want. And that's all she wrote.